Is it worth picking up EB03 booster boxes? Well, that's what we'll be talking about in today's video. We'll be taking a look at the manga, we'll be taking a look at the set, and we'll come to a conclusion on whether it's a good item to buy. So as the market gets more and more expensive, if I'm being honest with you, some boxes have priced out so many people, so something to look forward to is if you can't get older boxes, you can always try and get newer boxes. So there should be some locations here and there where you can still get EB03 booster boxes. At least in Australia, there's a couple stores that still have some stock before it all goes out of stock. So that's what we'll be covering in today's video. Alright, so we'll be looking at the manga, we'll be looking at the set, talking about the qualities, the boost box as a whole, and we'll come to a conclusion. So let's just start off with the manga, which is the Uta. Honestly, great manga. First of all, they've never done an Uta before, so we've got a one-time manga. Of course, until they do another one eventually, I'm sure eventually they'll do one, right? Eventually they're going to run out of characters and then they'll start doing duplicates, but it's not like Sabu or it's not like Ace and it's not like other ones where there's multiple. We got PRB normal, then you've got OP13, so you've got that. So it's a brand new manga, which is just great. Uta is a very popular character, so you've also got that. So it's a really nice reset in a sense, right? They don't have some unknown character that people don't really gravitate to, or maybe they're just not a popular character. No, it's just one of those popular ones that they haven't really got into eventually, and now they are. So now let's talk about the actual cards inside. You've got Nami, you got Boa Hancock, you've got another Uta card, you got multiple of each. You got multiple different artworks, which is really good. So overall, can a waifu set do well? That's what the main question is. Are there enough fans and there are enough people wanting to collect it? And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. You look at some cards like the Manga Nami, you look at some cards like the Manga Boa Hancock, and they've done really, really well. There seems to be a pretty big influence with those characters, and they're being featured into this set. So you look at something like Boa Hancock, right? And the Boa Hancock manga is in OP07. Now, if you haven't checked out my video on how One Piece has done over the last week, what I do is I have a spreadsheet and I update all the boxes per week, and then we go over them and see how they did compared to the previous week and then compared to the previous month. If you check the latest one on that, you'll see that the best performing box last week was actually OP07. Why was that? It's not because you have a $5 card that people love. It's because the manga is popular and it can carry the set. Boa Hancock manga single-handedly carried that set from 110, 120 all the way to 190, 200 within 1 week. That seems to be the influence of it. Look at OP04. The Boa Hancock in there is so expensive. It's almost as expensive as some mangas. It's actually getting incredibly pricey. It's gone up a lot. It's not like it's an incredibly difficult card to pull like a gold manga or a red manga. It didn't start off expensive, right? It was only $60, $90, but it's slowly risen in price as the months have gone by because that card is a really nice looking card and Boa Hancock is a pretty popular character. So to see that in the new set, I think it's a really good opportunity if I'm being honest with you. Another thing to take to note is that this is the only time they've done a complete waifu set. So it's not like this is their third one and the first one did really well, the second one did decent, and now we gotta ask if there's any more juice left to squeeze for the third one, right? No, this is an original idea. So overall, I think it definitely is a good purchase. And now another to take to note is part of the extra booster series. We've got EB01, EB02, and this is the third one. The thing about these is these guys catch pretty much no reprints. Now, at least in Australia, we didn't get any reprints. There could have been other countries that either got a reprint or a restock, but at least I can say for Australia, we didn't get a restock, we didn't get a reprint. In other countries, it may have been a bit, but you can all see globally, EB01 is so expensive. Globally, EB02 is relatively expensive. You've got to remember, EB02 came out in May of this year. The thing is only 6, 7 months old, and it's this expensive. So they don't do blisters for EBs. They generally don't add them in collection boxes and stuff. So they're pretty hard to come by. It's pretty much just booster boxes. So that's that. Another thing is that the allocation for this box is literal horse crap. It's really bad. Really, really, really bad. So if you can get your hands on it, make sure to, but it's getting harder and harder day by day to get it. Now you got to remember this box comes out in March or April of next year. It's around that range. For it to be selling out this far in advance, I don't know, man. It kind of goes to show you there's say 1 million people happy to buy it on release. Then there's I don't know, 500k of people willing to pre-order it and wait 2 months. Then you got like a bunch of people willing to pay the 3 months and then wait 4 months. And it's like, even though we're getting down to like, even though it's December and it comes out in like April, I believe, which is pretty much 5 months, you still got like so many people willing to wait that long. So they go, yeah, I'll pay in full right now. I don't mind. I'm willing to wait almost half a year to receive this booster box. So it does kind of make you think, with the combination of really bad allocations and this, it's just, you know, we can add 2 plus 2 together. Like, it's not that hard to come to a conclusion, right? Now, before we continue, guys, if you are in Australia and you are in need of any acrylic cases, make sure to check out the link in the description. One of the things I do is YouTube, but then the other thing I also do is sell acrylic cases. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, but they're really, really nice acrylic cases. So if you're in need of One Piece, Pokemon acrylic cases, I've got you covered. So it fits it quite nice. It's magnetic. It's a thick case, so it definitely does the job just nice. Whether you want to display it, whether you want to protect it, it does both really well. I know this is my One Piece channel, but I'll quickly show off. I've also got like acrylic cases for that. I've got acrylic cases for booster boxes, Elite Trainer boxes, and also booster box cases. But yeah, I know this is Pokemon related, but I figured I'd just show it. So yeah, I've also got this. If you're interested, make sure to check out the description. Now, for everyone who is watching this video, or if you're in my Discord server, you do get a coupon code. The coupon code is REAL110, which is 10% off your order. It's only for real ones, so if you're not a real one, you can't use it. However, good news, everyone who watches this video is a real one. So make sure to use that coupon code if you want 10% off your order. So then that way I can give a little bit of a discount to the people who are watching my content, but then also want to support me here. Buying one of these acrylic cases is the equivalent of watching like 2,000 plus videos of mine. So it seriously supports the channel a ton and also adds some nice value if you want to protect your collection. But anyways, with having all of these combined, I seriously think this booster box can do really well. Now, it is quite a risky buy because ultimately we don't know. And also, if you look at the Japanese one, it looks really promising. There's a lot of really expensive cards. Something to take into note is that usually whenever it comes to waifus for trading cards, generally the Japanese version does do quite well. So we'll see how the English version does. Maybe it doesn't do as popular, but let's just say in some Black Swan event where it just doesn't do that popular, let's just say the Nami, Boa Hancock, Uta just doesn't hit it well. I don't really understand why it would, but let's just say it doesn't. All right, well, it's still extra booster, which means that there's no blisters. I don't think they put in collection boxes. The booster boxes either received no or very little reprints going by past extra booster boxes. So either way, the supply of it is really small. On top of the fact that the allocation is really small, on top of the fact that it's pretty much sold out almost everywhere to begin with, showing the level of demand. And then on top of that, in case none of this works, in case it gets reprinted into the ground, in case waifus don't really do that well and all these different things, at least it has an Uta manga. The manga is really good. We can see the influence that sets have with good mangas. The Boa Hancock single-handedly made OP07 the best performing booster box percentage-wise of last week. So it kind of does show you at least there's some safety nets, right? And these are the perfect items to buy. If you can buy items where you've got multiple safety nets, you are golden. That's why I love OP13 so much, because there's so many safety nets with it. You've got God packs, you've got the silver, gold shanks, you've got Manga Luffy, and then you've got the red Luffy. But then you also got two other different mangas as well. You got the Sabu and the Ace. Both of them are in the red version. So you have so much. And then you have the wanted posters as well. And it's like, oh, if none of that does well, at least we've got the pre-order wanted poster, right? So that's what I really like about boxes like this. Generally, it can be risky buying boxes like OP02 or say 2 Legends, say boxes where you've generally got just one big chase. It can be risky, especially if they do like a PRB where they just kind of reprint it. It can definitely mess up the long-term potential of the box. I'm not saying that OP02, it would be like $500 if PRB didn't exist, PRB01, but I would be willing to bet that it probably got hit the hardest with the manga reprint. And the reason is because pretty much all OP02 has to offer realistically is that manga ace. So considering that you can just buy a reprinted version for a very cheap, well, not very, but cheaper price, I definitely do feel like that definitely has hit it. So generally investing in those boxes, we have like one really good item. It is somewhat risky. So that is something to think about. However, a lot of boxes like 05, 09, 11, PRBO1, PRBO2. Investing in boxes like this, you don't really have that problem. So that's kind of, you guys get what I'm saying. So that's the thing about EB03 is that there's tons of different things like ready to rally it up and it can do well. Like EB01, for example, right? The set isn't that good. The set was not popular. For anyone who wasn't there, when EB01 came out, at least in Australia, it was the cheapest box. No one wanted it. I could get them for 90, 80, $80, about that range. It was dirt cheap. It was fire sold. No one wanted it. However, it doesn't have many nice cards inside. It's not really, I don't really like the set that much. However, what it did have was it being heavily short printed. So it's like it doesn't need to be that good of a set. It just needs one thing to succeed. Be a good set, have a good manga, have difficult pull rates, or maybe it's being short printed. Like all it needs is one thing and then it'll just do really well, right? Like OPO1, in my opinion, I don't think it's the best set out there. I think we have better sets, but why is it the most expensive? It's because there's not really a large supply out there, right? So all these sets need is basically just one thing to really uplift it. But when you have like multiple things, it can really help it do well, especially if all of them go south, but say one, that can definitely save it. Or in the best world scenario, something like OPO5, OPO9, where nothing has gone south, so then it's just naturally done really well to begin with. Things like PRBO1, nothing has gone south. It didn't get massive print waves. I don't even know if it did get another print wave. I don't think so. At least, once again, not in Australia. It is really tricky for me to measure print waves, by the way, because in Australia, we specifically get less. So if other places get like 3 print waves, we'll get 2. If other places get 2, a lot of time we'll only get 1, and maybe if we're lucky, a little bit more. But then usually any card shop will just charge an insane price for it. So generally for Australia, you kind of buy it at release or you just cry later. So it is a little bit difficult for me to measure that, but nonetheless, all it realistically takes is one thing for a set to do really well. And I think EB03 has plenty of shots. So I'm going to try and pre-order it where I can. If I buy it at release and it's $200 or $250, I'm probably still going to buy it, but anything more than that, I'll probably start to hesitate. But nonetheless, we can see how well EB01 did. That's not really much of a good set. It does have a good manga, I will give it that, but that manga was so cheap for so long. Funnily enough, when that Tony did come out, it was so, man, it was pretty available. So yeah, you can see that even the smallest thing like limited print runs can just make a set do really well. Then you get to EB02. EB02 is a pretty good set nonetheless, but you think it just has one good manga. It doesn't need to have 5 mangas. It doesn't need to have 3 mangas. All it has is just one nice looking manga and it's done really well. Of course it has other cards, but nonetheless, it still has one really nice manga that has definitely lifted it to new heights. So EB03, I think it's a really nice manga. I think it's really set up well. So it'll take a while for it to come out. It's going to be like April of next year, but still, nonetheless, I don't think there's anything wrong with pre-ordering it now. It's definitely a good idea. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Let me know, are you guys pre-ordering EB03? We'd love to hear it in the comments, but I'll see you guys in the next time.